major. Those who learn with me in one-on-one classes or in Raga courses, they want to have their independence and freedom. They want to be able to find their own chords, find the songs on their own. We don't want to be dependent on somebody else's mediocre chord ideas forever. In order to get the freedom and independence, we need to understand that chord finding is something which has a lot of options and variations. We need to understand a little bit of theory, even if it can be a little bit boring for some of us in the beginning. Example of playing Shivranjini. In this video we'll be looking at how we can find the chords for Shivranjini. While doing that, we will be naturally be able to find chords for Raga Shivranjini, but we will also be learning how we can get better at finding chords for other raga songs, etc. I'll be showing you the method which I may use to try find chords for Raga Shivranjini. There are some other scales where you may be able to just use the family of chords method, but in this case you'll be looking more closely at the tune and just using some basic chords, the minor chord. You'll be adding extra notes and possibly finding chords for the melody note. So there are two main methods. One is using the family of chords of a scale, and the second one is looking exactly at the notes being used and adjusting the chords for it. If you find it a little bit difficult to understand what a family of chords and things like that, let's just have a look at musicianself.com/FCO, the link. Using that page you'll be able to get some videos where I explain family of chords and things like that. Family of chords is like a macro way of finding the chords, where you get a set of chords which most probably will fit for that particular scale, and therefore the songs which are based on that scale. That is one way. In this case, let us start with the scale. Shivranjini scale is sa re ga pa sa, sa re to ga to, according to Carnatic notation, pa dha to and sa. That is root, major second, minor third. It's a minor scale. Root, major second, minor third, then fifth, major sixth, and the octave. That is it. So you can play it anywhere. Here I used A as the sa. You can also use C as the sa, or E as the sa, wherever you want, because as long as you keep the pattern, the relationship between the notes, it's the same. It is the same scale. The pattern is the scale. The scale is the pattern. It doesn't matter. I don't even have to know the notes which I'm playing. So as when we are trying to find chords also, that is all. We find at one place we can find the chords for the scale or the song, then you can shift it anywhere you want to whatever pitch. We change the pitch so that in order maybe the vocalist has to sing in a different pitch, maybe the instrumentalist, the whole song, maybe it's in a different pitch like that. But for us it doesn't matter, because once we know how to find chords for a particular pattern, or in general we know how to find family of chords or even exact chords based on the phrase, then we can shift it to find chords and other pitches, other scales and other ragas. Doesn't matter. So let us have a look here. Sa re ga pa da sa. Theoretically we can use the chords of the D Dorian or even D melodic minor, because see, we are playing sa re ga pa da sa. What are the missing notes? It can be sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. That this ma and ni, if we add it, it becomes a Dorian scale, the scale of Raga Priya, and we can theoretically we can use the chords of that scale. That is what we mean by family of chords method. If it is A minor, A Dorian will have the exact same chords as the G major scale. I'll also be showing you, I'll just write it on paper and show you what I mean by all these things, the shifting from G major scale to A Dorian and all those things. It can also be part of melodic minor, because this particular ni3 comes up. Given a pentatonic scale, you can always assume the other two notes and find family of chords, etc. One thing for sure, it's a minor scale, because sa re ga, see it's a two-note gap here between the sa. There are two notes exist with a gap of just two notes in between. So that is a root and the minor third, or the sa and the ga too. So it's definitely a minor chord. It's not a major chord. It doesn't like. We are playing the C note here, and if you play the A major chord on top of it, most probably it's not going to fit. So we are starting the A minor. Let us see now. Let us take the example song. I am just changing to C major. C major has C, E and G. Mm. E is definitely there. It's the power of the Shivranjini scale. When A is the Sa, then C is also there. That is a Ga 2. So E and Pa and Ga are E and C. The G note is need to, which is not there in the Shivranjani Raga, but it doesn't matter because chords are, we are just finding it for the phrase. As long as it doesn't clash according to you and it's genre specific, there are no wrong chords, like Mark Levin says. It's totally up to you. So in this case, I can use the C major chord with the also possible. I'm using F major 7th, although F sharp is definitely a note. So that's another way of doing it. I'm adding F sharp here. Or C major. F sharp on the first string. It's a minor 6, A minor chord along with the major 6th note. A minor chord along with the F sharp note gives you the A minor 6th chord. This is a very typical Shivranjani sounding. Or another inversion. This is F sharp minor 7 flat 5. A minor 6 same as F sharp minor 7 flat 5. Both of them have the exact same notes. E, A, C and F sharp. In this case it will be F sharp, C, E and A. Just rearranged, you get the chord. So these two chords are very Shivranjani sounding chords. So that's what I meant. Like even if we have a family of chords of Dorian, it is possible that there are other chords which will sound even better. So A minor kanna. I'm adding the re 2 here. You can experiment a little bit. There is no single solution there. I just lifted my first finger to play the re 2 there. A suspended 2. Just like that you can say. So basically in this variation, all I did is I used the A minor scale, I added the extra notes as needed, just stuck with the A minor scale, removing one note here, adding a note here, like that I did. And that is probably enough. The starting point is definitely understanding that it's a minor and a minor or a major scale. In this case it's a minor. Then I just chose melody notes from within the exact phrases. I didn't really go for the family of chords or anything. At that point, where am I putting the chord for which melody? Then take the melody notes from the phrase. I have a basic chord, try to add something, get a good chord out of it. That is it. So let us take another example. So that's another. If I have a phrase like that, pada sa sa sa, pada sa sa. Here I am putting the F sharp minor 7 flat 5. I can also just play the A minor, but for an extra variation I can use the F sharp. I'm not using the A minor 6 because if I'm singing the Sa here and the highest note of the chord is here in the F sharp, for me it doesn't really support the vocal well. One possibility. Possible, yeah. Like I said, there is no single solution. I'll just give you some ways in which I may be thinking about chords and phrases, chords and ragas and scales, so that you will also be able to use similar methods when you are approaching your own compositions or you are trying to find chords for songs. Often when somebody asks me to help with chords for their album or their production, most often it is because they have the basic chords, they have the basic melody, and then they want to find the different possible options and variations. So it's a options and variation scheme that we are playing here. We have all these possibilities, we have the exact family of chords, then we can find more chords by using melody notes along with the family of chords. Then there are also reharmonizations where you're really bringing in notes from outside. The more farther away you go from the family of chords and the usual chords, and the more of reharmonization is happening there. Think of chord maker's job as more like bringing context to something. Take a leaf from the road, put it on the living room wall, put a frame around it, and it becomes an art. That is kind of what the chord maker's job is. You're given a basic thing. There may be a very usual and monotonous chord work around it, but as a chord maker, you can give a context to it, you can bring variations and options to it. Hope you enjoy this. If you like this kind of videos, make sure you subscribe. Also be in touch with me at musicianself.com. You can write me an email, I will respond to you. And like I said, get more free resources from musicianself.com/fco, all the family of cards. Be in touch with me if here are some more videos which you may want to check out.